For over 55 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by the Georgia Farm Bureau in association with Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College.
A year's worth of hard work and dedication, whether it was planting season or harvest, has all led to this. Welcome, Farm Monitor faithful. A belated Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and yours. Glad you're with us for a very special edition of the Farm Monitor.
That's right. It's our reporter favorite show, highlighting the stories we enjoyed most throughout 2025. Case in point, my favorite story of the year. They're crunchy, they're sweet, and packed with history. We're taking you to Georgia's blueberry capital, where the secret to success starts in the soil. Or how about this one? From Florida traffic to mountain tranquility. How one family traded noise for nature and built a sheep farm full of flavor, charm, and purpose.
And maybe one of the more inspiring stories we aired this year after a devastating barn fire. We're going to show you how these livestock exhibitors are proving that passion and resilience can overcome any setback. Again, our reporter favorite show of 2025, and it all starts right now. Facing adversity, it's never easy, but for livestock exhibitors at Southeast Whitfield High School, resilience became their foundation after a devastating barn fire.
Now they're back in the ring, proving that dedication and determination can turn setbacks into comebacks. John Holcomb has their inspiring story.
Last winter, these livestock exhibitors' lives were drastically changed as their school's barn burned down, taking their animals and months of hard work, time, and energy along with it. It was a moment that can only be described as devastating. However, now just over a year later, they've rebounded, put in the work, and are competing at the show they missed last year.
It burnt down just exactly 2 weeks before Perry, so we had went in October and we had kind of got to see like that side of things, but it was very sad to get to see like your animal grow, and you had put so much time and effort into it and you were working up to this point, and then for you not to be able to go through with it, and then you got to watch everybody still go and compete without you. It was definitely sad, and you kind of just felt like let down, like all you had done was kind of to waste. But definitely this year has been nice to get back in the swing of things, and I've been able to learn from it that you can still move on, you can still work better this next year, and it's going to be okay.
This year, their show team is significantly smaller, as only a handful were able to house their animals at their homes, which of course, as Bearden says, presented new challenges.
It definitely has impacted us since it's burnt down, because you're not able to have as big of a show team. It's nice whenever you have like the convenience of sharing like the stands and the blowers at the school, but once it burnt and it's at your house, you don't have all those things at your access, and you're not able to have as many members because a lot of the kids rely on the school to provide for the things that they need.
Though the incident was no doubt a tragedy, the team turned it into an opportunity, one that demonstrates passion, resilience, and determination, especially when you have a great support system.
It doesn't matter whether we have a barn at the school, it doesn't matter whether our group's small or big, we're still able to compete, we're still able to do good and be able to come to Perry. I still was able to work with my goat at my house. I was able to send pictures back and forth with my ag teachers, and they were still able to give me input, even though it wasn't like in like person. They were still able to say like, hey, you should brace it this way, you need to work with walking it, and here's just a few tips. So I was able to move past whether the barn was there or not.
Our kids are tough, and their parents are tough, and their families are tough, and they work hard. And so when that happened, it took some time to grieve and to look back and reflect. But these students that decided to take that adversity and learn from it. And so they decided, I'm not going to let something that frankly they can't control hold them down. So they decided, we're going to house our animals at home, we're still going to work hard, and we're going to do what we love to do, and that's show livestock. And essentially, I think that comes back full circle with exactly why we do this, exactly why our students show livestock. They show livestock to learn how to handle adversity, to work hard, and work with one another to get through issues that may occur.
Reporting in Perry for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Here in Georgia, they're a big deal. In fact, they're the #1 fruit produced in the state. Talking, of course, about blueberries. Back in May, I hit the road to South Georgia to find out what makes Alma the perfect spot for growing this superfruit.
This is called a key crisp, my favorite, because when you bite it, it has a crunch, just like a grape does.
Did you know that Alma is the blueberry capital of Georgia?
Bacon County grows more blueberries than anywhere else.
The secret is in the soil.
This is pine tree country down here, and you'll see farmers go in and cut all the pine trees to plant blueberries because that is the perfect soil, the perfect mulch for a blueberry. They like that.
And these blues have been around a long time.
The Indians were eating blueberries when the settlers came over. They would cook down the blueberries, add milk to it, and make a paint to paint their homes. But the interesting thing to me was Indians did not call them blueberries. They called them star berries. And the reason being, if you look at the end of a blueberry, that's actually what we call the calyx. The correct term is calyx. And if you look, it is normally a 5-pointed star. That's why they call them starberries. A lot of work goes into producing blueberries. These are started out as tiny little root cuttings. So they just look like little sticks to start with.
It takes about 3 years for a farmer to have enough to harvest.
So for 3 years, the farmer plants, he feeds it with fertilizer, he waters it, he tries to keep the grass and the weeds down because that is going to help this plant to grow. We also have to fight insects and diseases.
We are fortunate enough here in Bacon County to have what we call the Blueberry Research and Demonstration Farm. It consists of about 8.5 to 9 acres of rabbit eye blueberries, as well as 10 to 12, I would say, acres of southern highbush blueberries. Blueberry specialists, whether it be pathologists, entomologists, or weed scientists or horticulturalists, can come and conduct their research there. There's always something to learn. And when those pests or problems or issues we have in the blueberries come up and nobody really knows what to do, how to fix it, that's where the University of Georgia and Extension Service can come in and say, okay, we see that there's an issue.
He says technology has grown tremendously and many farmers use drones to help with their crops.
They have technology now that you can fly over a field and actually see the plants, and it'll send, I'm using different wavelengths, and you can see stressed plants.
It's not just pests they have to look out for.
Blueberries do not like a lot of water. If you notice, these are on a bed. You see, it's not just flat on the ground. We call it wet feet. If they have wet feet, they rot.
They also have to protect the plants from cold temperatures, and they do that by spraying the plants with water.
You go ahead and put ice on it before it hits freezing, and then once it hits freezing and below, that plant won't go any colder than freezing. So you have protected it. You put a shield over it and protected that little plant from the frost.
Blueberry season in Georgia is from April to mid-June, and there's 2 ways they pick the fruit from the bush. Manually.
We bring in workers, but they'll have a pouch and a bucket, and they'll go up to a plant, and they will literally, when they're blue, just pick like that.
And with a harvester.
The driver sits way up there and it goes over this plant. What it does is it shakes them. And the blueberries, because they're ripe, they'll fall off.
She says because the berries turn and become ripe at different times, a farmer could actually pick the same row multiple times in one season.
Our blueberries go everywhere. In fact, we've been told most of the berries picked here in this area go way up north. I've heard people, New York, even Canada, say they get our berries.
It's farms like this one and farmers like the Wilds that continue to work hard to provide blueberries near and far and help make Georgia #1 in blueberry production.
Well, stay with us. Reporter Favorites of 2025 continues with a special treat just in time for Georgia's college football playoff run. But first, see how a simple family question turned into a full-fledged sheep farm.
All right, welcome back. As you just saw, we're recapping some of our favorite stories from the past year. Next up, Damon Jones's favorite story, a family sheep farm that started with one simple question.
After paying a visit to the Blue Ridge Mountains from Florida, Lee Forbes and his family knew they wanted to live there. What they would do for a living, however, was much less certain. But thanks to a simple question, inspiration finally struck.
So we had kids that were just coming out of high school and asked them what they wanted to do with their futures. And our son Hayden said he wanted to be a farmer. So this is really set up as a namesake for him.
And so begins the story of Crest Creeks Sheep Farm, where taking that road less traveled has not only resulted in this new family-run operation, but also a way of life they wouldn't have any other way.
I enjoy the peace. I don't have traffic. I don't have kids yelling at me. I don't have people, honking and things. I just absolutely love the animals and feeding them every morning. And they get to know you. They become your friends. So I absolutely enjoy that.
It is a daily experience. I'll say that for sure. So we're here all day, but it's different when you work, when you wake up and you want to come to work. So doing something you love, it's not a challenge to get out of bed in the morning.
That year-round commitment, along with very specific breeding, is what gives this lamb its distinct taste compared to the meat being shipped in from around the world.
You'll find the wool production cheaper in most of the meat products that are imported. So they have natural oil production of lanolin that coats that wool, and that often will give the meat a much stronger, gamier flavor. So we've chosen to have an American breed of sheep out of Vermont. It's a hair sheep, so like your dog, it sheds, but it doesn't have that oil production and leads to a much milder taste, a lot less gamey, more steak-like.
Because of that, foot traffic in their farm store has more than doubled over the past year as visitors are treated to a wide array of locally sourced products.
We carry our lamb, of course, and then we carry pork, chicken, and beef. And then we do all of our in-house baking. We carry local wines and honeys, a lot of handmade gifts and goodies from local merchants and other farmers in the area.
Supporting local ag and educating guests on what goes into raising sheep is the reason this operation offers farm tours, hay rides, and a quarterly farm-to-table dinner. It's a behind-the-scenes look that is really a highlight for the owners.
I think that's probably one of my favorite things because we did this for families. We didn't do it just for our family. We do the corn maze and the Easter egg hunt and the Christmas activities solely for families. So when they come out and they say they want their kids to see sheep and they get to hold those baby lambs, that's definitely something amazing.
Yeah, see kids today and families that don't get to spend time together. So having a place that they can come and make memories, that's important.
Reporting from LJ, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
It's a fact. People love stories about dogs, me included. Hence, one of my favorite stories of 2025, a four-legged workaholic named Rooster, who also happens to be the 2025 Georgia Farm Bureau Farm Dog of the Year. Before dawn breaks, before the trucks fire up, even before the first gate swings open, another day begins with a shadow. A rather small shadow, but one with a heart the size of Texas and one that's rarely more than 2 feet from the man he follows.
For the people who have never seen you work,
Describe that relationship and that bond that you two have.
Rooster is with me from, I just say 4 o'clock in the morning all the way to about 8 o'clock at night when we get home. It's hard to kind of describe the bond. I mean, I work with him probably more, I'm with him more than I am most people. And I said, it's kind of pathetic. You find yourself talking to him if he's not with you. And so, you know, we're very well bonded, and my wife calls it an unholy alliance, is what she refers to it as.
On the Raff family's cattle operation, the daily jobs demand precision. Sorting, fetching, moving stubborn cows in every direction. Jobs that once took 2 or 3 people, now handled by 1 man and 1 dog.
For instance, when we're spraying flies in the pastures, and that we'll do 700-800 head in a day. That used to take about 4 people. It's just me and him on a 4-wheeler and him bringing them to the pens. He'll handle groups up to 200 to 300 head on his own, taken to the pens, and with me on the 4-wheeler helping.
And Rooster doesn't just follow orders, he reads them in every breath, every glance, every step. It's a partnership forged over years of work, training, and something you can't put a name to. A quiet understanding that comes from being side by side through long days on the farm.
That bond carries over to every part of Sean's day. On the family's beef cattle farm, at Sunrise Dairy, wherever there are cattle, Rooster is right there. Sorting heifers, moving cows, keeping both animals and people safer, and making the work just a little bit easier. A constant presence that's more than just a dog.
He's like a kid to me, that one of my siblings. And I shouldn't really say that, but I mean, he is. It doesn't matter if it's raining, snowing, it makes no difference. He's out there.
After the break, with the college football playoffs in full swing, we're getting the tailgate ready. Tracy and I serving up slaw dogs, southern potato salad, and plenty of game day flavor next.
Finally this week, since joining our popular Meals from the Field segment, Dr. Tracy Brigman has quickly become a viewer favorite.
And best of all, she is a football fanatic. So much so that back in August, Tracy and I kicked off the college football season with our own tailgate of sorts. Perfect timing with the playoffs now underway. Yes, football is back. The dogs are back. And guess who else is back? Dr. Tracy Brigman is back. Yeah, it's good to have Tracy along. And today, as you can tell, we are gearing up for football season. We are tailgating.
We are.
And you've got some great recipes.
Yes, I have 3 great tailgating recipes that are bound to please everyone. You can make them all the night before.
Right.
And then all you have to do is grill up your hot dogs once you get to your tailgate area. So we're going to start with...
And you notice the hat's backwards, so you know what that means? That means time to dive in.
That's right. We're going to start with a barbecue glazed hot dog with a spicy slaw. So it's a little twist on a slaw dog.
Okay.
So we're going to start with our slaw sauce. In this bowl, I want you to put 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise. And we're going to follow that with 2 teaspoons of whole grain mustard. So not your general yellow mustard, but you want that whole grain. And here's where the kick comes in. This is 3 tablespoons of pickled jalapenos that I've chopped finely. And then this is 1.5 teaspoons of the pickling liquid that those jalapenos came in. And then this is 2 teaspoons of your favorite barbecue sauce. I chose Grill Man. It's bottled in Cumming, Georgia. It's a really good barbecue sauce. So we're gonna mix that together. That's our slaw sauce. All right, that looks good. So to our slaw sauce, we're gonna add 2.5 cups of red cabbage. This is 2.5 cups of green cabbage. This is 1 medium carrot grated. It's about 1/2 cup. And these are 2 scallions or green onions that I thinly sliced. So once they're finished cooking, you put your hot dog in the bun, put a little bit of slaw on top, and there you go, a barbecue glazed hot dog with spicy slaw.
So what better to pair the slaw dog with than some good old traditional potato salad?
Absolutely. So this is traditional Southern potato salad. You can jazz it up a little bit, but this is kind of the base. So this is 3 pounds of russet potatoes that I peeled and cut into about 1-inch pieces and then boiled till soft. And then you want to cool it, because if you try to mix in your potato salad dressing while it's hot, they're just going to break apart and you're going to have more mush than large pieces. Okay. So again, my 3 pounds of potatoes. Now I'm just going to add my toppings. So this is 5 hard cooked eggs that I chopped. You notice I called them hard cooked and not boiled. I want to hard cook them. And then that is 1/4 cup sweet pickle relish. Some people like dill, we like sweet in our family. That's 3/4 cup of mayonnaise. And then we have 2 teaspoons of yellow mustard.
Mustard.
And then salt and pepper to taste. So, as I said, this is kind of a base. You want to taste it. If you want a more mustard tang, put in a little more mustard. If you want more sweet pickle relish, put that in. Some people put raw celery and onions in there. Okay. So, and then just mix it up. If you want onion, if you want celery, if you want more mustard, you can just kind of go from there. But this is a traditional Southern potato salad that will pair well with that barbecue spicy slaw.
Last but not least, dessert time.
Dessert time. So we're gonna do a coconut chocolate Rice Krispie treat. So everybody's probably made Rice Krispie treats before. In this pan, I have a 1/4 cup of butter that I melted and a 10-ounce package of marshmallows. So I melted it over low heat and stirred it till it was smooth. To that, we're gonna add 5 cups of chocolate crispy rice cereal and 1/3 cup of sweetened shredded coconut. Go ahead and mix it together. Once it's all mixed together, I want to move fast so it doesn't harden. We're going to put it in a 9x13 pan that I put butter on the bottom, and then I have a spatula that I buttered on the back so that I can flatten it out and even it out. And I want to let that cool before I do anything else with it. So once it's cooled, I got a football-shaped cookie cutter. You can do it freehand. I'm just not that talented, but I cut the Rice Krispie treats into cute little football shapes, and then I bought some icing. It already has a tip on it, so we use this small one for the middle of the football, and then this has a little bit wider tip for the edges. You can use pastry bags or icing bags and pastry tips, but I find this is easier because you can just buy it and do it that way. So cute little football-shaped coconut chocolate Rice Krispie treat.
Yes.
Your tailgate is set.
Your tailgate's complete? Not yet. You first have to go to farm-monitor.com, go to the recipe section to get all these recipes. Everything listed out there for you in detail. Tracy does a great job with that every week. So, Tracy, thank you so much. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Thank you for watching Go Dogs, and we'll see you next month. Hey, hope you enjoyed our reporter favorites of 2025. Here's to another year at the show, our 60th to be exact, and even more incredible stories.
Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you next week for another special episode of the Farm Monitor, our most popular stories of 2025 by you, the viewer. See you then.